It is time for reasoning patriots to reawaken the true spirit of liberty in a movement to reassert principles of the Founding Fathers once again as the primary governance of this great republic. The dictionary definition of liberty is 1. The state of being free within society from oppressive restrictions imposed by authority on one's way of life, behavior, or political views. 2. The power or scope to act as one pleases. The great importance and meaning of the word liberty to Revolutionary War patriots was forever memorialized in American culture with the below iconic phrase, "Give me liberty or give me death." Patrick Henry, speech to the Second Virginia Convention, March 23, 1775. The word liberty should not be confused with the word freedom. And during the time of the Founding Fathers, that was very much the case. But for us today, the two words are seemingly synonymous. However, in the 1700s, liberty was understood by all to basically mean unbridled free will, per popular philosophical views at the time. The Founding Fathers considered one's liberty to be endowed upon all at birth from God, for one's liberty can only be given by God, not man. Therefore, no government can ever take liberty away from you, for government can only grant or deny freedom, not liberty. For instance, when a man is released from prison, he is then a free man as sanctioned by the laws and authority of a state. Subsequently, one has the freedom to commit crimes, but one does not have the liberty to do so. For liberty is a natural law right that is universal to all and cannot be rescinded by any government, legislation, or action. Conversely, it is the duty of the United States constitutional republican form of government to protect one's liberty, not to deny it. Liberty must, at all hazards, be supported, for we have a right to it, derived from our Maker. But if we had not, our fathers have earned and bought it for us at the expense of their ease, their estates, their pleasure, and their blood. John Adams, A Dissertation of the Canon and Feudal Law, 1765. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Thomas Jefferson, Declaration of Independence, 1776. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. Preamble to the United States Constitution. Because most Americans have lost the Founding Fathers' understanding and passion of and for the word liberty and all of its Americana connotations, this ignorance has negatively affected our core belief of what it is to be an American. For example, the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution was painstakingly written, reasoned, and debated by intellectual American patriots in an attempt to limit the infringement, growth, and power of government over one's God-given liberty, because they knew that the inherent nature of any government devolves into seeking more authority. Sadly, our federal government, state, and local governments have grown into corrupt behemoths and are asserting their authority to excess and diminishing one's natural liberty in the process, which is counter to the original intentions of the Founding Fathers. Americans need to be reminded that the Constitution and our system of government, with its checks and balances, were originally intended to limit the powers of the government, not to be an instrument to grant unlimited powers to the government over the people. Therefore, our great republic and its Constitution were not designed for the people to be subservient to an all-powerful federal, state, and local government regimes, for the two are incompatible and diametrically opposed, and the Founding Fathers made this evident in their writings. Each individual of the society has a right to be protected by it in the enjoyment of his life, liberty, and property according to standing laws. He is obliged, consequently, to contribute his share to the expense of this protection, and to give his personal service or an equivalent when necessary. But no part of the property of any individual can, with justice, be taken from him, or applied to public uses, without his own consent or that of the representative body of the people. In fine, the people of this Commonwealth are not controllable by any other laws than those to which their constitutional representative body have given their consent. John Adams, 1776. This quote is dedicated to all the tech elite, industrial elite, and self-serving politicians of today. If ye love wealth better than liberty, the tranquility of servitude, then the animated contest of freedom, go from us in peace. We ask not your counsels or arms. Crouch down and lick the hands which feed you. May your chains sit lightly upon you, and may posterity forget that you were our countrymen. Samuel Adams, 1776. The fundamental source of all your errors, sophisms, and false reasonings is a total ignorance of the natural rights of mankind. Were you once to become acquainted with these, you could never entertain a thought that all men are not, by nature, entitled to a parity of privileges. You would be convinced that natural liberty is a gift of the beneficent Creator to the whole human race, and that civil liberty is founded in that, and cannot be wrested from any people without the most manifest violation of justice. Alexander Hamilton, 1775. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. The functionaries of every government has propensities to command at will the liberty and property of their constituents. There is no safe deposit for these but with the people themselves, nor can they be safe with them without information. Where the press is free and every man able to read, all is safe. Thomas Jefferson, 1816. Every man who loves peace, every man who loves his country, every man who loves liberty ought to have it before his eyes, that he may cherish in his heart a due attachment to the Union of America, and be able to set a due value on the means of preserving it. James Madison, The Federalist Papers, No. 41, 1788. The Republicans and Democrats of today should re-familiarize themselves with this quote. It is the nature and intention of a constitution to prevent governing by party, by establishing a common principle that shall limit and control the power and impulse of party, and that says to all parties, thus, far shalt thou go and no further. But in the absence of a constitution, men look entirely to party, and instead of principle governing party, party governs principle. An avidity to punish is always dangerous to liberty. It leads men to stretch, to misinterpret, and to misapply even the best of laws. He that would make his own liberty secure must guard even his enemy from oppression. For if he violates this duty, he establishes a precedent that will reach to himself. Thomas Paine, Dissertation on First Principles of Government, December 23rd, 1791. Among the natural rights of the colonists are these: first, a right to life; secondly, to liberty; thirdly, to property, together with the right to support and defend them in the best manner they can. These are evident branches of, rather than deductions from, the duty of self-preservation, commonly called the first law of nature. Samuel Adams, The Rights of the Colonists, November 20th, 1772. The end of government being the good of mankind points out its great duties. It is, above all things, to provide for the security, the quiet, and happy enjoyment of life, liberty, and property. There is not an act which a government can have a right to make that does not tend to the advancement of the security, tranquility, and prosperity of the people. James Otis, 1764. Thomas Jefferson wrote, "All power is inherent in the people," which exemplifies the Founding Fathers' distrust of an all-powerful government. The Founding Fathers believed that the primary functionaries of government are to assist the governed with the pursuit of property ownership, happiness, liberty, quality of life, defense, safety, and everything else to be secondary functions. And if a government cannot or will not provide those core essential rights to ensure liberty as prescribed by the Founding Fathers, then the people have the right to disband a tyrannical government and replace it with one that will adhere to the primary functions of the Constitution and uphold one's liberty as paramount. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles, and organizing its powers in such form, as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them from under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty, to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. United States Declaration of Independence. Thomas Paine in 1792 succinctly explained what liberty should be in America per the principles of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the ideologies of the Founding Fathers. Liberty is the power to do everything that does not interfere with the rights of others. Thus, the exercise of the natural rights of every individual has no limits, save those that assure to other members of society the enjoyment of the same rights. It is time for Americans to recapture our dying liberty and restore her to the elevated status the Founding Fathers held, before her shining light succumbs to the darkness forevermore. Arbitrary power is most easily established on the ruins of liberty, abused to licentiousness. George Washington, 1783. What say you, my fellow patriot? May God bless the United States in our darkest hour.